नमस्कार. या लाईव्ह सेशनमध्ये आपल्या सर्वांचं मनापासून स्वागत. हॅलो डिअर फ्रेंड्स, you all are welcome in this live session, how to study English language for standard 9th and standard 10. In this session we will learn some innovative ideas and techniques of studying English. So dear friends, I am Sridhar Nagargoze, member of English Language Committee and ELT expert. Last 15 years I have been associated with framing English syllabus and textbooks. In this situation, we all are eager to know what are the different sources for learning and teaching. Today's session we will talk about the self-learning techniques that is called study skill. Study skill is one of the most important skill in 21st century. We all are familiar with basic language skills. Apart from that, we have included study skill. When you go through the competency statements at the beginning of our textbook, you will find near about 6 areas of language development. These 6 areas are nothing but listening, speaking, reading, writing, study skill and language study. In the past time, we have studied grammar, but in new textbooks we have used one different term, and that term is language study. That language study is nothing but functional approach of teaching grammar. And in this functional approach, we focused on not only the traditional grammar rules and regulations, but also we have focused on functional approach of learning language and functional approach of using grammar in the language. Most of you have studied, and also myself, I have studied grammar as a separate part. But when we study any language, we use grammar as an integral part of language. We never separate any linguistic items or grammar from language. So that's why our the 6th area is language study. And in this language study, we have focused vocabulary and grammar. Because if we know only the structures, the grammar, the patterns, and we don't have any vocabulary, so what will happen? Mechanically we can create the sentences, but we never create very meaningful and appropriate sentences. That's why our focus is that we should know the vocabulary and we should know the grammar, and we have to use both grammar and vocabulary integrated. That is an integrated part. Again, that in the old syllabus and in all the books, our focus was that to teach vocabulary isolated way or to teach vocabulary in isolation. But nowadays we are not teaching any vocabulary in isolation, but we teach vocabulary in context, because if we know the context of any text, we guess the meaning of words, and guessing the meaning of words through the context, this is the best way of learning language. Most of the time in our mother tongue also and in other tongue also, we learn many words without looking into the dictionary, the meaning of that word in a dictionary. We get the meaning through context, and getting the meaning from the context is the best way of knowing language. So in 9th and 10th standard, the books are designed in that way, so student can use their all basic skills as well as study skill and language skills. So how can we study our English language? How can we study our 9th and 10th standards? Because in 9th and 10th standards, our books and the matter is more. Matter is not less. When argument is going on, or you have talked about it, that one thing, language is not a content subject. Language is skill-based subject, and our focus is to develop the skills. But can we develop any skills without a content, without a context, without any material? How can we teach a reading skill without a text? How can you develop a listening without any dialogue or without any story? How can we develop any vocabulary without any matter? So our focus is that we have to use a matter for developing skills. Matter is a medium for teaching language. So that's why matter is most important to develop a language. But our activity sheet question paper is not assessed the memory or the information or the content of the text. Our focus is to test their proficiency in the language, and that proficiency is always checked through the matter. In the 9th and 10th standards, how can your students study? Because they have something. Students should start studying language what they have, or what you have, what you know. In the 9th and 10th standards, students know many things in the English language. For example, they know the articles, they know the parts of speech, they know the tense, they know the sentence patterns or sentence types, they know tenses, they know some synthesis or some transformation sentences, they know the modal auxiliaries. How can we use all these things to study in the 10th and 9th standards? Because our students have studied all these things separately. For example, they have studied prepositions separately, they have studied articles separately, they have studied tenses and sentences separately. But when you study our language, our focus is to integrate all these things while studying language. So we can start with some activities. We all know our all lessons begins with warming up activity or chit chat activity. In chit chat and warming activity, what is the purpose of warming up activity? Is it only to start up the lesson? Is it only one purpose to introduce the lesson? Or is there only one purpose to connect the lesson with the activity? Yes, absolutely, that is one. But beyond that, if you go through all the chit chat activities from the 9th and 10th standards, you will find near about 200 questions, and all questions are personal response questions. You will find some questions begins with WH words, and some questions begins with verbal questions, or we can say the polar questions. The students will respond it yes or no type questions, and all questions you will find U is integrated. For example, how do you study your English? Do you like to listen bedtime stories? Why? Such type of stories, such type of questions are used in our day-to-day life situations. In our warming up activities and chit-chat questions, students should go through the chit-chat activities independently. Though nowadays students are at home, but they can read the chit-chat activities and they think about the responses. The one response is a personal response. Students will develop their writing dialogue capacity, because if you read one question and you give the answer, that is a dialogue making, and you can make a dialogue of 3 or 4 questions, and that is a meaningful dialogue. So in this way we can develop our dialogue writing. At the same time, these all questions are used for self-expression, that is personal response, and these all questions are open-ended. Their answer is not only one, they have different answers. For example, we have taken one question from the 9th standards. What makes a person happy and confident during special functions and the parties? When you think about this question, we have multiple answers, we have open-ended responses. Responses are varied. Students will say in a different way, what makes you happy and confident during the special parties and the functions? So students will respond the good looking, or we have any special treatment in the party. Or students will say yes, the dress, the ornaments, the luxurious things, or also different things. So in this way students will think differently and they give the response. Again, who do you think are responsible for spreading false news? The boy who broke the bank in the 10th standards, and this is one question from the chit chat. Who do you think are responsible for spreading false news? Many people spread false news, and that we call rumor. And nowadays people are using the social sites, the different groups, and some news are not real. There is no reality in the news, and they spread the rumors, they spread the false news, and that can harm many innocent people, or sometimes many people without their any fault. So if you ask this question, the students will give the different responses, and these responses are build their dialogue writing capacity and personal response capacity, because in our activity sheet there is a personal response questions, and personal response questions based on the some context. What would you do if you were lost in a new city? This is another question from the chit chat. So they will think in a real life, if they didn't lose or they don't lost their way, or they never go in any city, but in imaginary level they can think and they can respond it appropriately, and that response of the students will make him a good learner of the language, good user of the language. So in this way we can use warming up activities and chit chat activities for developing personal response questions, to develop dialogue writing activities, and to express independently, because it has given some theme, and students will think about their own vocabulary and constructions, and they will start constructing sentences. At the initial stage they can construct the sentences oral, and they can write the same sentence in a written form. So in this way they can check their grammar and vocabulary. Then when we go through the textbook, we have a different lessons and poems. So there are 4 units, you know, and all 4 units are divided in different poems and stories and informative passages. So we will think about the poetry section in our 9th standard and 10th standards. In a poetry section, and at the same time we link this poetry with our activity sheet and examination. So there are 8 poems in our textbook, and any 2 poems will be asked in our examination, and 1 poem for the comprehension and 1 poem for the appreciation. So 5 marks for the comprehension and 5 marks for the appreciation, and in this way, out of 8, if they have studied all 8 poems, they can solve activities based on the comprehension and based on the appreciation, and it helps them to get the highest or maximum marks or out of marks in a poetry section. In a poetry section, how to study poetry? Can we use the same strategy to study poetry and prose? No, never. Because according to the text, we have to set our study strategy or study techniques. For example, if we have a story, we study the story differently. If there is an informative passage, we study differently. And at the same time, the prose and poetry, we shift our paradigm to study the poetry. In a poetry, we study with stanza and refrain. Yes, we know the stanza, the 4-line stanza, sometimes 6-line stanza, sometimes 8-line stanza. Generally, the 4-line stanza is very popular in a poetry writing. But stanza, stanza and refrain. We know the stanza. What is meant by refrain? You might have noticed some things that is, some lines are repeated in every poem, and that repeated lines are used for singing in a chorus, and that the repeated line we call the refrain, and the refrain has a special effect on the poetry. So in our walk a little slower, in the 9 standards, walk a little slower daddy, walk a little slower, this is a refrain in that poem. So this line is used again and again in every stanza. Again, when I ask you to listen, please listen, this poem, this is the refrain in that poem. As also, you start dying slowly, this line is repeated and it is a refrain of this poem. The whole world is mine, this is also refrain. So you might have noticed, or you have definitely noticed, that this refrain is used at the beginning of the stanza or end of the stanza, because it is dependent on the style of the poet or the structure of the poetry. But you will find the refrain, and this refrain can help you to understand the theme of the poetry. So if the same line is repeated again and again, that means poetry is focused on the one thing. For example, in the walk a little slower, daddy walk a little slower, he is urging, requesting his father, if you go slow, so definitely I will catch you, I will follow you. If you go fast, what will happen? I will not understand how to follow you. So in this way we can understand any poetry. So dear students and teachers, we should focus on stanza as well as the refrain. Again, there are 4-line stanza. We have a complete idea or complete that thought of the poet. It is given in the one stanza. But if you go through line by line, we understand the whole stanza, and all stanzas come with the one theme of the poetry. Again, stanza and rhyme scheme. When we study the poetry, we think about the stanza as well as the rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme can help you to imagery and the sound effect of the poetry. Definitely, some poems are in a few verses, no doubt. But if there is a rhyme scheme, we have to think stanza wise. When you study the poetry, we study stanza and refrain and stanza and rhyme scheme. Every poem has its setting or a description or a background or a context. We should understand the context. For example, Basket Full of Moonlight. What is the context of this poem? This context is a rural area. The context is the village. The village is far away from the city, and where there is no light, no electricity, and the whole village is in the dense of darkness. So that is the context. And who is speaking in this poem? Every poem, some context is there. We have to understand the context. If we understand the context, we understand the next thing also. For example, some people are talking, speaking, doing something. So we understand who his character is there. If characters are there, so who is speaking to whom? So if you understand the someone is speaking to someone, so it helps to understand the theme also. Then we have the tone of the poetry. Some poems are very happy. Most of the poem in our 9th and 10th standard, it is very positive in a optimistic mode. But sometimes we feel unhappy. For example, Basket of Moonlight. The tone is a little bit sorrow, because the little boy is thinking about the darkness, and he is afraid of some reasons or some bad things will happen with his father, the snake and scorpion, and if they come in the late, it will harm to his father, and he is requesting the moon, oh moonlight, give me moon. So that is a context we can send the tone. At the same time, when you study the poem, we should know the figures of speech, and that figures of speech can help you to get the better understanding, because in a poetry the words are less and the meaning is more, and the less words we can understand through the figures of speech. For example, the metaphor is there, so automatically we understand meaning of the poem also. And the most important thing that we have used in a poetic appreciation, that is a theme of the poetry, the implied meaning also. For example, if you kill your self-esteem from the you are dying slowly. Self-esteem means what? If we know the self-esteem means the self-respect, but how can we understand, are we really killing our self-esteem or not? Are we really respecting ourselves or not? So at that time, the learner should think deeply and understand the meaning of that word, that is implied meaning of that word. Again, the sound of the life. We have known the sound of some things, but the poet has used the figurative language, the sound of life. Sound of life means what? So if you think about such type of the poetic language, the poetic expressions, we can understand the poetry better. And in poetry, you might have known, not only poetry but also in stories also, the poem is written in the first person, I, sometimes my. In our textbook, O Moon, Basketful of Moonlight, the little boy is directly talking with the moon. The boy is the first person and is speaking with the moon. You start dying slowly. It is directly addressing to you, second person. So which pronoun is used, first person or second person, or only the third person is talking about it, so we can understand. Rudyard Kipling's poem, If You Can Keep Your Head, again directly you use the second person pronoun. So when you study any poetry, we think about these all things, and we definitely, all our students know simple things. They know the personal pronoun, they know the simple structure of the sentences, they know some adjectives, they know some verbs, they know the sentence pattern. So they can help, they can use their previous knowledge to understand the poetry well. Then we talk about the prose. There are 22 lessons and poems in our 10th textbook, and if 8 poems are there, remaining 14 prose lessons are there, and these 14 lessons are used to develop language. There are 4 stories in the whole 10th textbook, 9th textbook also there are different stories are there, and some stories are modern stories, some are the classical stories. In the 10th standards, the 10 stories are there, and out of 10, 2 stories are narrated in the first person. For example, an encounter of special kind. The writer himself, he is talking about the whole incident, and he is involved in that incident also. The boy who broke the bank, the story is written in a not in a first person but a second or third person. He or she has written. The writer has written the whole story. A lesson in a life from a beggar, Sudha Murthy's story, and Sudha Murthy herself, she is one of the character in that story, and another character is her friend Meena. So the whole story revolves with only 2 characters, writer herself and writer's friends Meena. If we know the characters in the story and we know the context of the story, we can understand better. Sometimes the 2 characters can converse to each other, and their conversation goes continuous, and we come at the conclusion, and then conclusion is the moral or the principle of the story. His first flight, this is also story, and it is written by the third person. There is a description, and it is a very motivating story. So the 4 stories and 2 stories are written in the first form, and sometimes at the beginning, the reader, the learner, the user of the language, the students can't understand who is a speaker in the story, who is I in the whole story. So that time you have to understand who is I and what is the relation with the I with the other characters. If you understand the relation with the first person, that's definitely it helps to understand the story also. Again, informative passages in the book also, and that informative passage is a Be Smart, and it's very motivating informative passage, and it helps to setting the goals. Then book review informative passage, world heritage informative passage, and the alchemy of nature, the world informative passage, because these passages will help them to summary writing as well as information transfer, because any information can be transformed in one form to another form, verbal to non-verbal, or verbal to in a graphic format. 3 lessons are there, and they based on the bio sketch, depends on the biography or the information or the introduction of the great personality, and epitome of courage. That is a lesson we know based on the person of the very great scientist and the great person in the 21st century. The brave-hearted, dedicated to the science and humanity. Again, 2 scientists who were worked together, and they died for the science, and that lesson give us a lot of things to understand. Then one speech is there, Let's March. One interview, Mary Com's interview is there, and one play, Joan of Arc. So there are different types of prose section in our English books. You might have wondered that why we have given a different type of text. If you have given only stories, it will help to understand better. No. If you only study the stories, what will happen? You can understand only structure of the story writing. You will not understand how the speech is written, how speech is the written, or what is the language or the style of the speech. You will never understand the informative type of language. You will not understand the drama, the form, the dialogues. If you know the different types of structures through the different types of text, it helps for writing, because after 10 standards you will go in a future, and it helps you to understand the other subjects, because you all, dear students, will study the science, the technology, the medicine, the agriculture, and so on. So you have familiar to study the informative passages also. So how to study any informative passage or story? You will go through the story as we have studied, that we have discussed the poetry learning or the techniques of learning poetry. But how to study the prose? definitely it's a different strategy. When we think about the poetry, we have a stanza, but when you think about the prose, we go through or go with different passages or paragraphs, and there are different paragraphs. The first paragraph, it is a topical paragraph. The first paragraph give you information about the topic. For example, be smart. If you go through the first paragraph, you will understand what is the concept of this. What is the be smart concept is there. If you go through the different an epitome of courage, so the first paragraph will give you some basic thing or the topic information. Second and third paragraph, some paragraphs are the key paragraphs that will give you the detailed information of that lesson, and that paragraphs number are maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, maybe 9. It depends on the length of the text. Some paragraphs are supporting paragraphs. You will understand that lesson better. That's why these paragraphs are given with the examples, that is a supporting, and at the end, at the last, at the last, you will find the concluding paragraph or the conclusion and solution of the lesson. In this way, we can understand any story with the help of different paragraphs. So when you go through the stories, if you don't understand first paragraphs, what shall I do? Shall we give up? Shall we leave the book? Shall we close the book? No. We have to read the lesson patiently at the end of the word. If you don't understand a single word of the lesson, it will never happen. You will not understand anything. We understand some, but we don't get 100%. In the first reading, it will pain you without understanding how can we read the lesson, how can you go through the step by steps. But in between, somewhere you will get some information or the comprehension, so you feel that, oh, I am understanding this text. In a second time, you can understand it. So in the first reading, you will understand less, but go continuously reading, and we can read the lesson. Then we will think about how to understand any passage. Read a paragraph 2 or 3 times individually. When you read the whole lesson, then you read the first paragraph 2 to 3 times. If you read, suppose you understand few words, for example, you understand only articles from the lesson. So how can you connect articles with the study? If article is there, definitely there is a common noun. This is noun and this is a countable noun. Okay, noun means something informative about the place, or maybe person, maybe thing, or maybe abstract ideas. It will help you. So as we have that discussed, the first paragraph is a topical, but in a one paragraph, if you read the first sentence, that is a topical sentence, that is the topic sentence. The first sentence is a topic sentence. The second and third sentence is a supporting sentence, main idea sentences, and the last one sentence, that is the concluding sentence of the paragraph. Because all writers, they have used their writings in the concrete ideas. They have concrete idea of writing paragraphs. While reading paragraphs, you will find some nouns are there, some adjectives are there, verbs are there, because they have studied all earlier classes. So you can use your grammar to understand the text, and if you understand the text, you can understand the better way. Suppose some sentences are very simple sentence and you understand simple sentence easily, but some sentences are very longer sentences. If longer sentences are there, how can we understand? So one concept is used in a language learning, that is a diagramming sentences. Diagram of the sentence. Birds fly, very small sentence. Birds flies in the sky, longer sentences. Birds flies in the sky in the evening, the longer sentences. Birds fly in the evening, birds fly in the sky in the evening and the monkeys are jumping on the trees. The two different sentences and connect with the and. Longer sentences, they are connected with coordinators and subordinators. Coordinators means coordinate. All compound sentences are coordinate with the coordinators or conjunctions, and all complex sentences are connected with the subordinate or subordinate clause or independent clause. So you can use this grammar, the sentence and clause, to understand the longer sentences, and you can get the meaning of the sentences. For example, the news spread through the bazaar with the rapidity of the forest fire. And in this sentence you know only the news, rest of the words you don't know. Again, if you read the same sentence, the news spread through the bazaar, and the second reading you will understand bazaar is the known word for me. Okay, the news spread through the bazaar, you get something. How? With the rapidity of the forest fire. You know the fire, but you don't know the forest fire. And you can think about the forest fire that is called in Marathi Vanwa. Oh, in this way you can understand some words with the other words. The birds has flown. It is a figurative meaning. And this sentence from the same lesson, the boy who broke the bank. In every story, again we should know the settings where the story is taking place. What are the characters, main characters and major characters? Then what are the character descriptions in the lesson of Bholi? The Bholi is described in a very different, effective manner, so we can understand how Bholi is or how Bholi's other sisters are. So we understand the character description. Some images are there. When you read the story, we create some image before us, how the story is happening before us. Some events are there, skeletons, the sequence are there, events and the incidents are there, and at the last, in between, somewhere the problem is there, and at the last the story is concluded with a happy ending or maybe not ending. For example, the story in the 9th standard Necklace, and at the story ends, there is no happy ending. The ending is something different that makes to think the reader, and as a reader we think very deeply. Oh, how does it happen? So some story techniques are different, so we can understand the story studying and the informative passage, and we can use the different strategy to this one. Before going further, we have two questions from our chat box. What can we do to get maximum marks in a writing section? For writing section, we have to practice it well. In the whole year, we have to draft many drafts. We checked by the students, self-examination, and it should be checked by the teacher, and teacher should give the direct direction or some points, some hints to how to develop the correct writing. In a writing, the sentence construction, the appropriate vocabulary, and the good ideas, the flow of ideas is necessary. For example, you are a good writing, you never commit any mistakes in a tense or a sentence construction, but your ideas are not sequential, your ideas are not in a flow, because ideas are put in a different flows also. For example, if you go through any lesson, you will understand there is a flow of the ideas or the fluency of the ideas. So if the fluency of ideas is there, definitely you will get maximum marks. How to write personal response questions? How many lines? Personal response questions, we should write 3 to 4 lines, not more than that. Because what is checked through the personal response questions? Personal response questions checks the students' ability to understand the question, the first thing. Second thing, how does the student respond to the question? If the first part is a verbal question, so here he should give the answer of the verbal question, and the second part, that is the that you call your proof of your saying. For example, do you listen bedtime stories? Yes. Why? Why not? So if you say yes, I love to listen the bedtime stories, so you have to give the justice to your question, and the justice should be given in a 2 to 3 lines, not more than that. Again, appropriate answer is necessary. Some students write many lines, but these lines are not appropriate. Some students write some lines or pick up some lines from the passage, that is a cut and paste, and definitely it harm to writing of the personal response question. How to write appreciation of the poem, and it is asked by the Milind Joshi sir from Mazelgaon. Thank you, Milind sir. How to write an appreciation? Appreciation in a writing, we have only 5 the points. The first point is that title, and the second point is a poet, and the both point they have 1 mark. Next, figures of speech. Students should write the figures of speech. Then rhyme scheme, 1 marks, 3 marks, and 2 marks for the theme of the poem. The overall, the central idea of the poem, and it should be written in 3 to 4 lines, the overall theme of the poem. If they have written only the theme of the first stanza, the students will not get the complete credit or the 100% credit. So that's why the student should know the theme of the poetry, and they have to written in his or her own words. Now, how to develop our reading ability or the comprehension ability at the 9th and 10th standard level? Though the students, dear students, you are not very small, you are grown-up students, but you must read aloud for some time, not the whole lesson, but every day you have to read 1 paragraph every day in a loud voice, and you have to tell your family members. So and now I am reading 1 paragraph in my in a reading aloud style. So if you read aloud any text from the poetry or from prose or informative passage or story, so what will help you to develop your language? The first thing, it will develop your pronunciation, because if you are pronounce well, so you will never miss your spelling. Spelling will be correct. Some expressions are there. You can express, you can speak easily. Again, you have a flow of speaking and flow of reading also. Flow and fluency you develop in the reading aloud, and the correct, the meaningful chunks. It help you to understand any text. That text is very difficult to understand by silent reading, but if you read loudly, you understand better. If you try for few days, it's the personal experience, and it's my humble request all of you. If you do this way in a 1 week, definitely you will find that you are developed your comprehension skills also. Now the whole lesson you have to study silently. In a silent comprehension, in the first reading, you must locate the factual information. One question is asked by some students, some teachers also. Sir, we have asked only 1 paragraph or 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs or the length of 15 to 18 lines in our examination for comprehension of the text or comprehension of the lesson. Why you have given the longer sentence, longer lessons in the textbook? Because when you study the whole lesson, we understand the meaning of lesson. If you know the meaning and it is asked to you to find the information from the text, if you are unable to understand comprehension or you are unable to understand the text, you will not get the specific information. You cannot locate the information, because through reading activity we check, or the SSC board checks your comprehension capacity of the text. How much text do you comprehend through the learning, through the reading? So factual information we can understand, And in the first reading, we should understand the question, the answers of questions like as what, where, when and who. The factual information. The character is there, the name of the thing is there, or the name of the place is there, we can understand. Every sentence has a content words and the structural words. In the first reading, we can understand the content words and the key ideas. This is one sentence from Let's March. I have come here to share the voices and dreams of our children. The sentence, we focus on only two words, that is the wish and the dreams of our children. The wishes and dreams of our children. So these three words are important in this sentence. Let's walk together, let's speak together. We understand the structure of different sentences from the different texts also. At the same time, when you go through the smaller text, for example 1 or 2 or 3 paragraphs, at that time our reading should be very minutely reading, because when you study whole lesson, we get the theme, general idea, or the whole overall story. Let me give you one example. Suppose I have asked you, do you know Aurangabad? Yes, I know Aurangabad. You can give some different areas, the name of areas you can share with me. But exactly someone asked you, do you know the location of SSC board? Do you know the location of engineering college? Do you know the TV center? So at that time you have to go through the map and exactly find that place that is asked in that question. The same happen with our reading ability. In our reading, the comprehension test, in a comprehension testing, it is asked that you have to find some specific information from the passage, and that helps you to understand. In some longer sentences are there, we have to break through some ideas, some meaningful chunks that we call. For example, a small incident on a Sunday afternoon left a profound effect on me and unfolded before my eyes a whole new dimension to the wonders of God's creation. It's a very longer sentence. But how can we understand? Because this sentence is joined with and. So we have to think about the first part of the sentence, a small incident. And you know the word small, but you don't know the word incident. So how can we guess the meaning of incident? Because that can help the next part. On a Sunday afternoon, if the date or day is there, that means something situation is there, and incident is a small situation also. So in this way you can understand the longer sentences. Prediction of the topic. When we read any lesson and if you don't understand anything, we can predict. For example, we have one sentence, electricity is one of the greatest discoveries of science. If you listen this sentence, so what do you guess? This is the first sentence of one paragraph. So we think about electricity is one of the greatest discoveries of the science. We think electricity is the topic of the sentence. If the second sentence is that science invented many things, thus knowledge spreads rapidly. The first word is a science. There is a science in the previous sentence, but the science is the end of the sentence. If the first word is used in any sentence, we guess this topic is related to the first word. So in this way we can read different text and we can guess, we can make our own formula to understand any text, and it helps to comprehend better. We think about the text as well as the language study, and the language study question is our first question, and that language question is framed in a such way that helps you to develop your basic language ability, basic language linguistic atoms, and some vocabulary, some grammar. This grammar is isolated, it is not contextual grammar, but in our textual and non-textual passages, activity number 3 and 4, it is based on the contextual. In our language study, we have different activities. Some activities are very simple, but these activities can help you to develop your other language skills. For example, complete the words by using the correct letters. How can we develop this or we can get the out of marks? It's very simple activity. But every day you can make a list of some words and you can drop 1 or 2 letters from the words, and after 1 week, then without looking into textbook, without looking the original word, without looking the complete words, you think about the words and complete the words. It helps them, it helps you to understand the full spelling pattern, the complete spelling as a figure, and you will never miss any spelling while writing your words. So it helps you to, so every day or every week you can take one paragraph, you can write 10 words or 20 words, and you can drop some letters from the words and you can practice it. Alphabetical order, we know if the words begins with the different letters, it is easy to put in alphabetical orders, but you have to make a set of words that words are begin with the same letters, and again you can put for 1 week, and the same alphabetical words you have to put in a correct order. Make a 4 words. You can list down the longer words in the from the textbook which have 7 letters, 8 letters or 10 letters, or maybe more than 10 letters. You have to write down in your notebook, and you can make maximum words from the longer words. So it helps you in 2 types. One way, you will understand the longer words from the text, and at the same time you can break the words into small parts, and you have developed your vocabulary. Write related words. That relation is that there is a relation between noun and adjective, because one noun has many adjectives, or one adjective can use for the many nouns. So you can make a diagram in your notebook at the center. At first, sometimes you can write the noun, and other sides you can use the describing words. Sometimes you can write the describing words at the center and you can use the noun at the around. Sometimes you can use the verb at the centers, and other nouns are used for the verbs also. For example, the right is a verb. So what can you use other nouns for the right? Pen, we write with the pen. Pencil, right? And other words also we can use in this way. So these are related words, we can say. Word chain of noun, word chain of adjective, word chain of verb. So if you know the word chain, at the same time you can think at the same category words. For example, word chain of noun. So automatically our brain start up thinking about the only noun or the naming things. If you think adjective, so automatically the brain is thinking about the describing words or describing nouns, describing words that we call adjective. If you think about the verb, automatically we start thinking about the actions or being words, and it helps to remember maximum words in a minimum time. And when you write any story or paragraph, it helps to writing easily. Add a clause or make a your own sentence by using a phrase. So if you start making a phrase, making list of the phrase and making the sentences, using the sentences, your own sentences by using the phrases, it will help to develop your writing skill. Add a clause. When I am talking about the longer sentences, you can list down the longer sentences from the textbook, and it will help to understand the clause, different types of clauses, and adding clause also. Because mechanically, if you learn any clause, after some days we forget the sentence formation. But if you learn from the stories or informative passages, it helps to understand the text also, and it helps to understand the structure of the clause also. Suffix and prefix also we can use in our language study section. So today we have discussed some part of our English textbook, not the whole, and some part of activity book. We have talked about the poetry section, and the poetry section is a very important part for getting maximum marks, and poetry helps us to develop our the figurative language, the vocabulary, the poetic expression, figures of speech, rhyme scheme, the special feature of the poetry, and the one thing that is the stanza and the refrain, and it gives you the 10 marks out of 10. Then we have studied the textual passages, though only 2 textual passages will be asked in our question paper, but if you become a good reader of the textual passage, automatically you will become the good reader of non-textual passages. So non-textual passage, how can we develop, how can we prepare our non-textual passage? Before teaching any lesson, you have to select any 3 paragraphs from the text, read independently and try to get the meaning. When you read any passage, you think in a 5 ways. The first way, finding the simple information. Second, finding the scattered information. Third, various types of vocabulary is used. So what are the word formation? What type of vocabulary is used? Is it the maximum nouns are used here, or maximum adjectives are used, or maximum the describing actions are describing words are used? Vocabulary. Is there some connection between the opposite words and similar words? Or we can think about the grammar. What type of grammar is used, or linguistic items are used in the passage? And the last thing, what types of personal response questions will be asked on this passage? So if you think in a 5 ways, so we can digest any non-textual passage or textual passage. So we have talked about the textual passages. We haven't talked about the non-textual passages because we don't have a time to talk about that. Then we have talked about the 10 marks language study section. So in this way we have talked about the 10 marks for poetry, 20 marks for textual passages, and 10 marks for the poetry section. So in this way, language study, we have covered 40 marks and our activity sheet is 80 marks. So remaining 80 marks, definitely we will be in future, we will talk in future, but that time we have to study some little part of the poetry, some little part of the prose sections, and I will here to listen from you some responses. See how these tips will help you. So the last few minutes we will talk about some questions. How to get out of marks in a summary writing? Okay, summary writing is a study skill also. If you understand the whole non-textual passage fully and you have solved all activities A1 and A2, simple factual and complex factual, you will get marks. So what are the criteria of summary writing? The first criteria, the first one point is that we have to give the title of the summary, and you will get the title at the beginning of some sentences or in the middle or the end of the sentence, but you have to give the appropriate title for the summary writing. Again, we have to dilute or we have to filter the information, which information is not too much informative, too much important. That information is supportive for the main information, so we can help, filter the information. The next point, we have to cover all important points from the passage, that is used in the passage as the original writing or original writer. And the last one thing, we have to use our own language. We should not cut and paste. We should not only the copy and paste. We should not take the same sentences from the passage and we have to write in the summary writing. In a summary writing, we have to cover all points, but we have to use our own language. If you use own language and cover all points, you will get out of marks. But if you commit any mistakes in spellings and grammars, definitely the examiner will reduce your marks. So the first 1 marks for the title, definitely will get the 1 marks. Then covering all points, 2 marks. Grammar and overall presentation, 1 marks. In this way we will get 5 marks. Okay, one question from Sakshi ma'am. How to improve punctuation skills? Good question. Punctuation skills. Punctuations are depend on the types of the sentences. Our students should know the basic 4 types of sentences. It is based on the functions of the sentence. 4 functions are there, we know. The first function is a statement. We express something, we declare something, declarative sentence or assertive sentence, and at the end of sentence we use the full stop. Another one, the function is imperative, or we give instruction to another, so we order or request. At the end of request or at the end of order, at the imperative sentence we use the full stop. Means we use full stop for the 2 sentences. One is imperative sentence and another is a declarative sentence. Okay, full stop is there. Remaining 2 sentences, one is a question, and there are 2 types of question: verbal question and WH question. If our students know the structure of question, they can understand it. Okay, question mark at the end of question mark. And the one last types of sentence, that is an exclamatory. But many students feel that if the exclamatory sentence begins with what and how, they feel this is a question, and sometimes they give the question mark. And another, the punctuation marks, we use comma. Where do you use comma? If the same category words are used, we use comma. Again, we have inverted comma, double inverted comma and single inverted comma. If quotation is there or the book name is there, single inverted comma, but the direct speech is there, we use the inverted comma. So it's my suggestion, if you read all our text, you will find different examples of punctuation marks, and these punctuation marks will help them to understand the structure of the sentences also. Okay. Another question from Anga ma'am. What is the criteria for summary writing? I think I have talked about the summary writing. The title, covering all points using our own language and using the main points from the structure. Okay, how to get out of marks in essay? In our activity sheet, there is no directly essay, but we have some activities where we can get out of marks. For example, dialogue writing. We have 3 types of dialogue: A, B, and C. And the speech, drafting a speech, it is a alternative or option for the dialogue writing. The first dialogue, only the dialogue is given in jumble order, and we have to put in a correct order. At the same time, we have to use the second activity is the half dialogue is given, and the remaining part we have to complete it. And the third dialogue, that is develop a dialogue or create a dialogue, and minimum 3 meaningful exchanges there. 3 meaningful exchanges means that you have apart from 3 meaningful exchanges, we have to begin dialogue with an appropriate way, and we have to end the dialogue in appropriate way. Beginning and ending should be appropriate, and we have 3 meaningful exchanges. Means near about 10 lines should be there. 5 meaningful exchanges. So if 5 meaningful exchanges are there, they will get 3 out of 3, and the first one and A and B will get 1. So in this way are the 5 marks also. Yes. Poetry section is a scoring section for all the students, and from the last year, okay, I will come to that. From the last year activity sheet, we have given maximum options for the students. There are different options in a language study section. There are different options in a writing section also. There is no options in a poetry section, prose, textual and non-textual. Okay, how to information about the report writing. Okay, report writing, it comes under expansion of ideas or expand the theme. In a report writing, in our textbook, some points are given. The title is given, and next the whole part we have to develop. Give the report of some news report writing. It is not news writing, but the report writing. And in a report writing, the deadline is there, byline is, the whole report is given, and at the end the conclusion of the report. So in this way you can write the report. Speech writing. In a speech writing, one speech is given on our textbook. The first paragraph should be the introductory. For example, dignitaries on the dais, all the respected person, and all my dear colleagues, or all my dear friends, all my dear teachers or respected teachers and my dear friends. This is the beginning. And the first paragraph, you have to introduce yourself. Who is you, and on which topic are you talking? So I am so and so, and I am talking on this topic, and today this incident in the beginning. And then the next 2 and 3 paragraphs, we have to write the detail about the speech, and at the end of the speech we should not forget to thanking all the audience to listening carefully. So this is the overall skeleton or structure of speaking. In between we have to use proverbs, sayings, quotations, and very attractive language as a speaker. Dear friends, thank you all of you. You have spent your valuable time and you have joined today's Facebook live session, and I'm specially thank to the Dhanaji Phad sir, who runs this Facebook page, Maharashtra Desha. Many of the great dignitaries have come here and they have shared their ideas, and today he has given me opportunity to talk with all people, and fortunately you all people are here to listen me, and it's my personal thank to all of you. You dear friends, you have given me a lot of the valuable time and listen carefully. You have given so many very appreciating word for me. Your kind words and appreciating words definitely boost my confidence, and in future definitely we will meet for the next session, and we will focus on the special the writing skills, and the non-textual passages. How can we select the non-textual passages, and how can we use the textual passages? Thank you.